From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your statewide MTN Noon News for this Friday, first day of August. I'm Don Hudson. Good to be with you. Let's get right to our top story, and it involves a teenager taken into custody after allegedly making shooting plans against a school and a church. Billings police responded Thursday morning about 7:30 to the 3200 block of Rosebud Drive for a suspicious call. Once they did arrive to the scene, officers and detectives were able to locate the 16-year-old boy, determined that the threats were credible. It's not clear which school or which church were the targets here, but police do say both are in the Billings area. The juvenile suspect is facing a possible charge of felony intimidation and is being held at youth services. Severe storms blew across Montana yesterday with a funnel cloud and land spout spotted in Marr County. Now, the funnel cloud was spotted about 5:45 yesterday evening, prompting a tornado warning for Broadwater and Marr counties. This is a photo of the land spout just east of Townsend, and you can see that it's blowing up dust and dirt. It's unclear if any damage has been reported from that system. And an intense thunderstorm moved through Great Falls yesterday as well, with rain and hail just pummeling the city. With inches of rain dumping down in less than an hour, heavy flash flooding occurred. Viewer video sent in shows just how much water rushed through the streets, as you can see it here. With more on the weather, though, let's check in now with meteorologist Miller Robson.
Happy Friday, everybody, and TGIF. Boom, we're going into the first weekend of August. Welcome to August 1st. And pretty typical with those temperatures out there. Right now, we've got 70s and 80s. A few spots like Butte and Kalispell not out of the 60s yet. We are seeing our fair share of sunshine across the area, but there is a lot of moisture aloft that we can tap into. That means, not to say this will happen, but if we have some storms come through, really tapping into that moisture, we could see some heavy rainfall. And we're already seeing some storms fire up. Eastern portions of Blaine County, you could see some really strong thunderstorms rolling through. In fact, around the High Line through Sunday, well over an inch of rainfall will be possible. We'll talk all about this with the main forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Now time for today's leading look as we follow some of the other stories making headlines. A normal afternoon quickly turned frightening for a Billings mother who says her 9-year-old son was approached by a stranger driving a van. Amber Young's son, Mason Shelton, was riding his bike in the neighborhood on Wednesday when suddenly, Shelton says, a van approached with a man inside that he did not know. The boy says the man asked him for help with directions, asking Shelton to show him where Pioneer Park is. The boy went inside the house, but the scene sent fear into Young, thinking how differently this could have all played out. A hiker who has been reported missing from the Tin Cup area in the Bitterroot has been found safe. We're talking about 35-year-old Clayton Clark was planning to hike west of Tin Cup and then north to Como Lake. He was reported missing on Monday after failing to return. Several search and rescue agencies responded with ground and air crews spending the past few days looking for him, but the county sheriff out there, Steve Holton, says Clark returned to the trailhead in the Tin Cup area west of Darby late last night. He is now home. The Raleigh County Sheriff's Office thanks everyone who shared information and who helped out during that search. This year's Montana legislative session was marked by tensions, and while it's been almost 3 months since the session actually came to an end, some of the divisions within the two major parties are still on display. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian breaks down the way these splits are coming out into the open.
This week, MTN journalists received copies of a document in the mail that shows some of the disagreements within the state legislature's Democratic caucuses. The 22-page document, titled Tangible Damages, lays out arguments that the working majority of Democrats and some Republicans had, quote, repeatedly worked against Democratic values, particularly violating Democratic priorities on tax policy and failing to stop, quote, far-right policies attacking trans people. The report was sent anonymously anonymously with a false return address and a Billings postmark. It was received by multiple journalists as well as a number of lawmakers. House Minority Leader Katie Sullivan confirmed the document came out of a request she made to House Democratic staff. In a statement to MTN, she said, quote, "This document is just one result and one person's perspective. Some I agree with, some I disagree with, and some I would have phrased it differently." Sullivan said disagreements happen, but Democrats would overcome this. Senate Minority Leader Pat Flowers, who frequently pointed to the working majority as a success during the session, echoed that in a statement, saying, quote, "Differences of opinion within a political party aren't just inevitable, they're healthy. I'm proud of the work every one of our Democratic legislators did this session, and I know that we'll continue to work together on the hard problems facing people across Montana." Leaked documents aren't the only sign of party disagreements spilling out into the public. In some Montana communities, residents are hearing it right on their phone.
Lou Jones is at it again. He's gobbling up our tax dollars to pay for more pork barrel spending.
That's a clip of one of a series of robocalls that have gone out in the last 2 months, attacking Republican lawmakers like Representative Lou Jones of Conrad. The recordings don't include any attribution. The staunchly conservative Montana Freedom Caucus has reposted them on social media. Caucus Chair Representative Jerry Schillinger of Circle denied knowing who's behind the calls, but said he agreed with their message.
They disrespected what their voters thought they were getting in the conservative majority in the Senate to carry out a conservative agenda.
Jones said people in his district felt harassed by the robocalls, and that he'll stand by his votes for investments he said his constituents need.
I try to vote with this district 100% of the time, and I would argue it's conservative. I don't know how it's not conservative to fix stuff before you fail.
In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
The woman accused of driving under the influence and crashing head-on into a vehicle near Big Fork, causing a fatality in January, was arraigned in Flathead County District Court Thursday afternoon. MTN's Sean Wells was in the courtroom for the arraignment.
Kayla Knaus pleaded not guilty Thursday to 1 count of vehicular homicide while under the influence. Charging documents state that law enforcement arrived on scene of a 2-vehicle head-on collision on Highway 35 near Big Fork around 1:45 a.m. New Year's Day. 37-year-old Alyssa Sladek died in the crash and was found buckled into the driver's seat of her Kia, while Knaus was still conscious in a Subaru Forester. Troopers determined the cause of the death being blunt force trauma due to the crash. Court documents state that Knaus was driving northbound on Highway 35 when she crossed the center line into the southbound lane, striking the front left bumper of Sladek's Kia. Troopers determined that Knaus drove in a reckless manner while operating a vehicle while under the influence and failing to maintain her lane. A toxicology report showed that Knaus had a blood alcohol content over twice the legal limit at 0.188 and tested positive for antidepressants and a sleep aid. Sladek's family and friends packed the courtroom, including her dad, Scott.
Very special girl. She loved life. She's full of spirit. She loved her nieces and nephews. She loved life.
If convicted, Knaus faces up to 30 years in a Montana state prison and a $50,000 fine. Knaus's jury trial is set for March 9th here at Flathead County District Court. In Kalispell, Sean Wells, MTN News.
The old-fashioned practice of people helping people on display on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation. It's all part of an effort to help build a man's vision for his church, which includes a lodge that was constructed over several years with the combined time, talents, and skills of church members. MTN's David Jay shares that it's a project that has one neighborhood expressing its gratitude.
Circle of Life Lutheran Church in Muddy Cluster, 5 miles from Lanebeer on the Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation, hosted Vacation Bible School.
Youth is a big area of where we wanted to focus.
For Pastor Dennis Bauer, that was part of his inspiration for building a lodge with 1,800 square feet on the first floor and sleeping quarters above on the 28-foot high loft.
I was the major general contractor. I don't have any training in that. I'm trained theologically, but I have a great interest in it, so I studied it out.
The lodge has been important for the Bible school as well as the church, and this whole plot of land with its refuge has been a big part and a focal point for the community.
So it gives all the little kids here in the Muddy Cluster community something to do, and for families to come together and go up there.
Delory Deputy runs a daycare in Muddy Cluster and sent 8 kids to Bible school this week. Some of her neighbors say the lodge has hosted anniversary and birthday parties as well. And on this night, everyone in Muddy Cluster has been invited to a dinner celebrating the week of community spirit and Bible school.
We're here to celebrate the Lord, but also to celebrate the fact that He's brought us together.
Jonathan Bull is the Operations and Outreach Director for Trinity Lutheran Church in Billings, a sister congregation to Circle of Life. Members at Bull's church made the 100-mile trek to Muddy Cluster, some with expertise, during the 8 years it took to build the lodge.
But likewise, it's been a blessing to us because they're doing something that is bigger than themselves. And we get to see how God comes along and just makes it happen.
Pastor Bauer bought a sawmilling machine, and the tribe gave him permission to take burned logs on the reservation.
It is one of those settings. They didn't build log lodges, but it seems to be received real well. And everybody who uses the lodge likes the atmosphere.
And the thing that I like about it is that they share Christ, Jesus Christ.
And they all say it's important to have a place that allows them to come together as neighbors and a community.
It's not just a building, but it really is a home for all of these beautiful things to happen within.